All right, today we're going over the Mobile Suite Houston. Very beautiful fifth wheel. We'll start off down here. Big storage bay right there. To the right of that is where your batteries are going to be stored on this pull-out tray. And then above this is your hydraulic pump, inverter, and battery cutoff switch. So to cut the batteries off, twist this until it shows red here. Twist it this way would be battery on. I'll show you how to turn the inverter on later, but what the inverter does is converts your battery power over to 120 volts so that you can power that big residential fridge inside while you're driving down the road. And then that hydraulic pump, all you need to know for that, make sure that that reservoir is nice and full, and then just check it for leaks every once in a while. When you're going down the road, sometimes the bumping can shake loose some of those connections. So usually if there's a leak, all you got to do is just retighten those fittings down and you should be all set. Over here, small leveling panel. I'll go over that later as well. And then you have your propane tanks. They just slide out on this little tray here. They're not hooked up right now, but when they are, left is open, right is closed. And then to switch between the two, you have this little black lever here. Whatever way it's facing is whatever tank you're reading from. So just flip it one way or the other, depending on what tank you want to use. Then in here is this big pass-through bay. Lots of space, lots of storage. In here you also have another screen for leveling if you didn't want to do it on the panel over there. So you can do auto level, manual, retract all the jacks, and then in advanced options you can check for any fault codes, or you can reset the jack panels in case there was a fault, and sometimes that will clear that fault. All right, going over the water bay now. If you're at a campsite that has a spigot on it, you're gonna take that hose, hook it up to the spigot, and run it into here. And you're gonna turn your knobs to city water. So that would be white down, green left, red up, blue to the left. Hook into this connection here with that hose and turn the water on. The city water connection is gonna run water directly to your faucets inside. So whatever pressure you get from that spigot is whatever pressure you're gonna get inside. Typically that pressure is pretty high, so it is good to get a pressure regulator for the end of your hose so that your water lines don't get blown out in case that water pressure is high. But that's what the city water connection is. If you're staying somewhere that doesn't have that direct water hookup, you're gonna fill your fresh tank up. So you go to power fill tank, white down, green left, red up, and blue down. Use the same connection here, turn your water on, and that's gonna run water directly to that fresh tank. You can watch those tank levels from the inside so you don't accidentally overfill it. Once it's full, turn that water off, and then you go to dry camping, so white down, green up, and blue to the left. And then you turn your water pump on, which you can do from the inside or from your panel right here. And once that pump is on, then you will be drawing water from the fresh tank and pumping it to the faucets. I'll go over the winterized setting later on. And then down here is your black tank flush. You have two of them, so you have one here and one here. What those do is they flush your black tanks out, which is the holding tanks for your toilets. So you just hook your hose in here, turn the water on, and then as you're draining your sewer out, you turn the water on and that shoots water into the black tank, rinses it out, and gets anything that's stuck in there, helps push it out of there. So these are the tank pulls: liquid waste, body waste. So this is the black tank, this is the gray tank. Gray tank is sinks and showers, black is that toilet water. Pull to open, push to close, like that. Two outlets right there. Light switch. Just for draining those tanks out, it is good to drain the black tank first. That way when you drain your gray, it helps to rinse out that end of your sewer hose. But again, all that is gonna come out right here. Just make sure your sewer hose is attached and then run it to the sewer pit, and you can open those tanks up. If we look up here, this is your water heater. So you got the water hookups here. When you're running the water, that's gonna run water to the water heater. To turn this water heater on beforehand, before running any water, just make sure that you have this installed right here and then locked in place, and then you turn it on from here. Up or down is on. What this is doing is activating the panel inside where you can select different modes. I'll show you those when we get inside. Turn this off for now because there's no water in the system. You never want to have your water heater on when there's no water present. Take a look in here, just a little storage area. Sewer cap is sitting in there. It's kind of dark, don't know if you can see it or not. Got your tires down there. Lug nuts will be checked and tires will be filled. So be ready for the road. This is just the back side of your fridge if you ever needed access. That's where you get to it from. Make sure there's nothing under here that I'm missing. Don't believe so. So we'll continue on towards the back. Power cord goes back here, and there is a switch there so you can wind this power cord up. Pulling it out is manual though, but when you're winding it up, it is a good idea to wear some gloves. Typically the cord will get a little dusty and your hands turn black. Ladders, 250 pounds capacity. The roof is walkable. Just try and limit it to at least 2 people at max. Don't want to put too much weight on that roof. Storage area back here. There's the other side. There's the other side of these tires. And just a little announcement for you. The jacks, they do look bent, but actually they're not. The DRV does stance jacks, so they're on a bit of an angle. That way you kind of get a wider stance for the whole unit and gives it a little bit more stability. So it's not a problem. It is actually a good thing that those are in a bit of a bent sort of looking position. 2 outlets there. Furnace exhaust does get hot, so don't touch that if you're running the furnace. And then here's the other side of that big pass-through bay. Down here you do have an LP connection, so if you wanted to run a griddle or a grill or hook that up out here, you just take an LP hose, plug it into here, and then flip this valve open and turn your gas supply on, and that'll run gas from your propane tanks to whatever you're using out here. So for the example, a grill. All right, let's check out inside now. These stairs actually flip right up into the door frame here. And then you can adjust your legs by pressing in these tabs, and they slide up and down so you can adjust the height. Just make sure when you're adjusting the height that you keep this piece of metal here flush with the metal here. Otherwise, when you close the door, the base of the door will hit the piece of the stair, and that ends up bending the door. And obviously you don't want that to happen. So always make sure that the black metal is flush with the silver metal. So we walk in here. All right, let's just show these slides moving in and out. So go to your panel here, bed slide, fold in, and you can watch that slide move. Obviously, before you move slide outs, always make sure that there's nothing in the way on the ground. You don't want it to hit like a screw or something and ruin your floor. So always make sure there's nothing in the way. But just keep holding until it stops. And then we'll just do the vanity now. And that's a super small little slide. This moves barely any time. And it's done. We'll do the door side. So this is that big slide out. It's hydraulic, so really powerful. Look at that. Ooh. And all the way in, and then we'll do the big old kitchen slide. So that's everything moving in. So now we'll do everything moving back out. So bed out. And it is good to run those jacks down before you do your slides. That way you are already leveled out, and moving the slides won't tip the unit one way or the other. This door open. Storage, your touch-up paint is located in there. If you ever scratch something, you can use that paint to touch it up. In here you got a couple light switches, so 1, 2, and the third one's over there. These two water heater switches you're never going to use. Those don't do anything. Those are for a different water heater system, which this unit doesn't have. You have your water pump switch right here to turn the water pump on to draw water from the fresh tank and pump it to the faucets. Then you have your generator start stop if you decide to add a generator, which goes in that big storage compartment on the front of the coach. But since these two water heater switches don't do anything, this is the one that you actually use. So this is the on mode that you're usually going to use. That's the on-demand water. So every time you open that hot tap, that water will be hot. Keeps the water that's inside the water heater hot at all times. This eco mode is not going to keep the water inside the water heater hot at all times. It's just going to warm it up as you turn it on, so you can save a little bit of propane. This is their winterize mode for going down the road. You have to buy a certain kit for that to actually use that, so it's not something you need. It's just a little extra feature. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, the Truma AquaGo video by Forest River goes in depth on what that specifically does and where you can buy that extra attachments and things that actually allow that to work, but not something you need. And this last one is for cleaning. Decalcifying the water heater is something you'll do once a year. You buy these decalcification tablets from Truma. They go on the end of the little pull-out seal that I showed you earlier behind that yellow door. You place those in the end, close it up, and then turn the water on and turn the water heater on. And that will decalcify the water heater, and you just run water through the faucets. Do that once a year. But that's what that one does. So normally you're just going to use this one right here. Otherwise, Eco saves you a little bit of propane. Back up to the big panel here. These are all your slide out switches. I'll show all the slides moving later on. This is your battery level, 12.3 volts. Fresh tank has nothing in it. Gray tank has nothing in it. Black tank has nothing in it. And then that's just showing the LP is open. Obviously, there's nothing in those either right now because they aren't even hooked up. This is your power control system panel, just showing you what service we got right now. I'm going to pause the video for a second, turn the flash on so that hopefully you can see this a little better. Alrighty, so this is just showing you what service we're hooked up to right now. So we have 50 amp service. So if we hit scroll, just showing you that everything's got power to it. Water heater, fans, the AC is powered. So yeah, that's just really showing you, because of the 50 amp, what power we are getting. If you were plugged into 30 amp, usually you wouldn't be able to run a certain amount of the air conditioners or appliances all at the same time. So if you have 50 amp though, no problem. Down here, turn the Wi-Fi ranger on, awning light on, off. Awnings in and out are right here. The front cap lights are right here. You got a max air fan remote for, which one's this for? I believe it's the one that's in this vent here. Maybe it's the one in the bedroom. So yeah, the one in the bedroom is what this remote does. This has a water sensor on it, so it will close itself if it gets wet. We'll put this back in here. This white switch here is to turn your inverter on. So if we hold it that way, it turns the inverter on. Again, that converts the battery power over to power the fridge while you're driving down the road. I believe you have to hold this. There we go, that powers it off. And then the power monitor system right there, just again showing you voltages that you have, showing you that shore power is active. And then you can also go to fault screen to check to see if anything has gone wrong. And then this big screen here is for your thermostat power on right here. And then I believe you press power on again, and that will take you to your zones. So zone 1 is the main zone here. Obviously we don't need the furnace running right now, but you can hear that kicked on. So the next mode is just the fan, off, cool. Once you get to the setting you want to use, if you hit fan, that changes the fan speed. So you have high, low, auto, and medium. Auto will shut off once it reaches the desired temperature. So up and down is going to change those temperatures. But if we want to switch zones next, zone 2, and then change the mode to say cool, fan speed, high, low, auto, temperature up and down. Same for every zone. You can also set a timer. If you want it to have shut off after a certain amount of time, you can do that from the program setting. change the units from Fahrenheit to Celsius if you desire to do so. The furnace, when you turn it off, isn't going to shut down right away because it runs through a bit of a cool down cycle. That's why you still hear it on. The air conditioners are actually quite quiet, so that's nice. Zone 1 is the only place you're going to be able to control the furnace from, but it still runs the heat to every place in the coach. The furnace is going to run through these floor vents here that kind of go all the way throughout. You can see them in here too. And then AC runs through these ceiling vents. So you have a unit in the front, in the middle, and in the back. So triple AC, that's what those 3 zones are for. So we go now to zone 3 mode. We can go to, let's try just the fan this time. Fan speed, medium. Can't change the temperature obviously because it's just the fan. But yeah, that's how you go through all your different modes. Again, if you want to turn them off, just go to each zone and find off. There we go. And that will shut everything back down again. I know that that's a little confusing to watch just on a video, so if you want me to go over that with you when you're here for your pickup date, we can gladly do so. Again, this Wi-Fi Ranger here, I can go into a little bit more depth on that later on in the video. Awning in and out switches, I'll show you those running quickly. Which one was that? So this first awning is the one that's on your slide out. There's a pole in the way, so I can't run that one out too far, so we will do this big awning right here. Not gonna hit the pole over there, that's good. Super fast awnings on this one, which I really like. And once this flap at the end is facing straight down like it is now, that's so you know you're all the way out. If you go too far, then it rolls over itself. You can create a little valley on the top, and water likes to pool up there and can stretch out the canvas. But to adjust the pitch of the awning to make sure that these nuts are loose, then you can pull this arm in like that, and then you retighten that nut down, and that would tip the awning to the right so the water would run off the back. Just make sure when you're moving the awning in and out that these nuts are loose. But yeah, that's how you use the awning. I think that's everything in there. Just down here are your breakers and fuses. So breakers are in there, and then fuses are behind this panel, which you kind of need a long fingernails or a screwdriver to get out. But it's good to take extra fuses with you just in case. Never want to be without power or something important. Light switches are scattered throughout the unit. So on and off, and then these ones are actually switches, but they're just on a dimmer. So that's for the main ceiling in here. Got your dinette. For travel, make sure that your chairs are strapped in. You don't want those to slide around and then you scuff your wood up. I think it is a good idea to get chair covers as well if you want to preserve that finished look on there, because they do sometimes get scratched. More light switches. This does extend out. I'm not quite sure. Okay, the leaf is stored down there. Locks in over here. Unlock. And clip. Assuming this is just going to be some sort of leaf setup. I bet it just slides right out. That's actually a lot easier than I thought. Slides out just like that. And you can lock it back in place. Super easy. And your extra chairs are sitting on top of the bed right now. Normally they're stored underneath the bed. Little desk area right here. Light switches again right there. We walk back. You got your theater chairs. Recline is right there. Super simple. Just for these blinds, do one at a time. When you do both of them at the same time, it kind of clogs up here. So just kind of do them one at a time and be gentle with them. When you pull them down too hard, sometimes the mechanisms will break on them, and then you got to get them replaced because they won't go back up. Light switch here, not a light switch, but the switch does your ceiling fan. Again, more light switches, dimmer. This actually goes into a bed. So to do so, top off your back cushions. And then lift up from here. Sort of flops out like that. And you have these legs down here that fold out like so. And then set it down, and you flop this back piece down like that. So that's what the couch looks like turned into a bed. You got the big TV, sound bar, and the fireplace. The fireplace is electric, so if you want to save some propane and heat this place up, I would definitely suggest to use the fireplace. It's super simple. Power on's right here. Heat, that's the rock color, so cool customization. Then you have temperature here. It's just high or low, but yeah, pumps out a lot of heat. Half hour, 45 minutes, this whole place will be nice and warm. You can set a timer for this to shut off after a certain amount of time. I believe it goes up to 5 hours. So that's what that switch does. I believe you got a little bit of storage behind the TV here for you to lift up. Yep, that pops it open. And you got some shelving back there. And then you can get to the back of your TV if you wanted to hook up like an Xbox or something. Alrighty, going towards the kitchen. Dishwasher right here. So I think it's in the lock position right now, which it is. And so if we hold the lock button, you can hear it unlock. You can slide it out. You obviously want it in the lock position for when you're going down the road. That way it doesn't open up on you and hit your cabinets and stuff. You don't want it to get scratched up. If you want to learn more about how to run the dishwasher, you can consult the manual. That's the best way to learn, since obviously I can't show you it working right now since we aren't hooked up to water. But yeah, you got a bunch of different modes here, sort of just like a dishwasher at home. It's pretty simple. But to relock the dishwasher, hold the lock key. You see that lock light up, but you actually have to wait for the second beep, and then it locks. So wait for that second beep, and then that locks up. Keys are on the sink here. Gray keys are going to be for your compartment doors, and then these keys are for the main door, and then these ones are for your safe. Got your burners right here. So burner, burner, oven, burner, burner. Oven light's right there. Panel light's right there. To light these, push in, you can hear the spark go off, and you turn to the left to open the gas supply up, and then that would light that back burner. Same thing for the oven, just make sure the oven's open, and then you take this plastic out of there, obviously. Up in that little grate on the bottom, all the way on the bottom in the middle there, you'll see the flame light up once it's lit. So you do the same thing, push, hold at this little flame mark here. Once you see that flame light, then you can open it up to whatever temperature you needed. Microwave is pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, just obviously make sure you take all that cardboard out of there before you use it. Pricing stuff. See if there's any important things in the drawers. Sometimes there is. I won't miss them. Whole lot of drawers. There we go. So in here are all the manuals, all the appliance manuals, warranty information. All that's in those packets. See if we got remotes or anything hanging out around here. Otherwise, I'll find them and then just cut to them later in the video. Refrigerators right here. You do have this nice fridge lock here for when you're going down the road. You just pull this up and out, and that allows these doors to open. So, big fridge right here. Super nice. You want to learn more about the fridge, consult the manual. Sort of like just getting a new fridge at home, learning about it. This does have a water filter in the top right corner. Just make sure the water's shut off if you're going to be using that. Installing it, I mean. Close that back up. I believe the fridge turns on. Let me turn the remote switch on. So now the fridge should have power. Yep. You have to have that remote switch on for the fridge to be powered. Not only going down the road, but also when you are parked. So bathroom, faucet, pedal flush toilet down there, max air fan control on the wall here. Opens that up. These all have rain sensors, so they close when it gets wet. We hit fan off. That's going to close the fan and turn that fan off. You have vent open, vent close if you just wanted to have the top open. Light switches. Really simple. So now we'll work our way up into the bedroom area. So there's those extra chairs for the dinette. Lift this bed up. There's that extra storage space down here. And a couple more light switches all tucked in here. Dimmers, do the lights above your head. Light switches on the slide out here. Another max air fan control. Power on, power off, same as the other one. You got your toilet in here, pedal flush. For travel, make sure that this latch is down so that these glass doors don't slam and shatter on you. Shower sort of just like one at home. Open that tap up and you get a shower head down there. Sorry about the pink. That is antifreeze because we winterize these units. Another max air fan right there, or the one above our heads. Nice double vanity. And then you get your pillows and bedspreads for the bed. And then the safe located on the wall in there. The passcode for that will be listed in one of your manuals. Otherwise, those keys that you have also open that up. Always make sure that these doors as well are latched. Basically, any door that has a latch, it should be latched for travel, because you don't want those slamming and banging around, falling off the track, causing damage. So always make sure you've got that stuff locked up. All right. All that said, let's head back outside and go over the winterization process. Winterizing this unit is fairly simple. You're going to need a lot of antifreeze though, because you got a lot of water lines. Big unit. All right, so you get here, you're going to turn your mode to winterize. So white this way, green this way, red this way, and blue in. Use the same connection here, attach a hose to it, and then run that hose into a jug of antifreeze. You'll probably need, I don't know, probably 10 plus gallons for this unit to winterize it fully. So you hook into that connection, turn your water pump on, because when you turn these switches here, that just changes where the water pump draws from. So instead of drawing from the fresh tank, now it's going to draw from the connection here. So it'll start siphoning from that winter antifreeze jug, and then you run it to your faucet. So you go inside, open up hot and cold taps one at a time, run it until it's completely pink coming out of both sides. Do that at every tap, so including the showers and including the toilets, even the outside shower. Run it until it's completely pink. Once you've done so, again, just make sure that the gray, the black tank, and the fresh tank are all empty. I'll show you where that fresh tank drain is. So if we go in here, might need a little more light. I'll turn the flash on. So the fresh tank drain is located right down there. So this little twist valve here, twist that to the open position, and then that'll drain the fresh tank out. And then furthermore, to run some more antifreeze, you're going to come to your low point drains right here and open those up and run it until it's completely pink coming out of the bottom of the unit. So those low point drains exit right there. So you just put these in the open position like that. There's some antifreeze in there. I don't want to drain it out right now, but that's how you put those into the open position. And then run it until it's completely pink coming out of the bottom of the unit. Once you've done so, and there's no air gaps, there's no water coming out anymore, it's just antifreeze, that's how you know you're all set. So yeah, just make sure that everything is drained out, including the fresh tank and also including your water heater. When you put the system down here in winterize mode, that actually is cutting off the supply to the water heater, so nothing else is going to get in here. So you can go ahead and drain it out. So you just pop this off like I showed you earlier. Take this out, slide it out, and then that can just tuck in nicely there. Close this back up and just put the lid back on. Yeah, so that's how you drain that out. You can also make sure that you let the pressure off before you take this out. Otherwise it does release quite a bit of air pressure. So make sure your water system's all shut off before you drain this out. So shut everything off, let the pressure out, and then take this bad boy out. So I would probably drain this before you start your winterizing process. Just put it on winterize mode, drain this out first. That's what I would suggest. Easiest way to do it. So let's go over leveling now. press up and down at the same time to power on the panel, and then all you have to do, press auto level, and that will level the unit out all by itself. If you walk around while it's leveling, it takes a little bit longer because you're going to throw it off its calibration. But that's what you do essentially right when you get off the truck. Holding up raises the front jacks, holding down lowers the front jacks. So that's how you line it up so you can back your truck up. But yeah, once you're off the truck, hit auto level, runs all the jacks down, and you're ready to put the slides out. Yeah, I suggest to put the slides out after you've leveled. Say you're ready to leave now. You got your truck right there, you're ready to back up to it. What you're gonna do, close all the slides up and then hit hitch height. What hitch height is going to remember the last place it was before you pressed auto level. So theoretically, it should run it back down to within a couple inches of where you were when you got off the truck. So you should just be able to back right in, hook up quickly, and then hit retract all after that. And that runs all the jacks all the way up. That way you are ready to leave. Again, if that didn't make much sense, we can go over that in person as well. Usually seeing it is a lot better than just hearing about it. Then there's just a couple more things I think we got to go over here. Inside this water bay, again, you do have an area for a water filter. The water filter is actually located, the filter itself is actually sitting under the sink right now. But you just take your little tool here, slide it up around the canister, and then you can unscrew that off. Just make sure that there is no pressure in the lines, otherwise you're going to spill water everywhere. So I'd probably set a couple towels down before you install the filter in there. We do ask that you install the filter yourselves because we do suggest that you run water through your system a couple times before you take this out camping, just to ensure that you've gotten any antifreeze out of the system. Because if you get antifreeze on your water heater, it ruins the filter. Sorry, water heater, water filter. If you get any antifreeze on the water filter, then it ruins the filter. So obviously you want to make sure that you've purged the system of any antifreeze. And to do that, just hook into that city connection like I showed you earlier, run water through all of the faucets, down all the drains, out your low point drains until it's all completely cleared and just water, and then you're all set. All right, I'm up on the roof now to show you what that Wi-Fi Ranger switch inside that I talked about earlier that I said I'd go over later. The Wi-Fi Ranger switch actually is a Wi-Fi booster. So turning that switch on is going to turn that Wi-Fi booster on, so that if you were staying somewhere like a campground that had a Wi-Fi signal, but it was kind of far away and you weren't getting a great connection, you can turn that switch on, and then this booster is going to help make that signal stronger, so hopefully you can connect to it. Otherwise, you can also purchase a SIM card adapter kit for this. That's the best way I can describe it. Essentially, we'll just take these 4 screws off and then install it in here, and that way you can basically set up a cellular plan for your RV. And usually you can get 3G or 4G connectivity by installing that up here. That way you could have Wi-Fi on the go. If you want to learn more about that, you can contact your salesman. We can see about getting that added on. But yeah, hopefully that makes sort of sense. But while I'm up here on the roof, I'll just show you that's what the vents look like from the top. Shower skylight, and then you've got your 3 ACs there, and there. Yeah, this roof looks really clean right now. Lots of sealant all done correctly, so they did a great job up here. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this was useful. But if you do have any further questions, sometimes I forget to mention something. So please bring questions with you to your pickup date. I'd love to get them answered for you. It might not be me doing your show through, it might be someone else. We got 3 techs that do walkthroughs. So if you have any questions, please bring them with you. If you want to get anything added on, speak to your salesman, and they can help you out with that. Otherwise, that should be everything. And yeah, hope this was useful, and hope you have a great pickup date and a great rest of your day. See you later.